Welcome to another interview in our FM Expert series. I am delighted to be joined by Ed Ehlers. Hi Ed, how are you?
I'm very well, Beth. How are you today?
Really good, thank you. Ed is joining us from the US, from just outside Washington, DC. And Ed is the founder of the Facilities Management Group, which has got a huge 146,000 members. So we all need to join that to hear all the content. And Ed, you're going to be talking to us about, now I'm going to try and get my teeth around this, unsettling sentiments, disruptive thinking, and an unconventional wisdom in facilities management. Have I said that right?
You nailed it. You got it good.
Okay, well, I'm really looking forward to this, so I'm going to hand over to you. Thank you, Ed.
Thank you for this opportunity, Beth. I am extremely honored to be here today. After many years in the facilities management industry, I thought of things that everybody thinks is the norm. And how do we break out of that? How do we shake things up, if you will? When I joined FM, it was so I can be an engineer and I don't have to deal with people. Or, another thought was, hey, to advance your career, you've got to network.
Yeah.
And costs. We have to drive costs down. That's the most important thing. That's what our clients want, is driving costs down. Hey, the customer is always right? The end user is always right. So those 5 things there are items that many of us have struggled with, continue to struggle with over time. And I thought, why do we think like this? Facilities management is so much not about dealing with buildings as it is dealing with people.
Yeah.
We are providing a service for individuals that spend sometimes 40, 50, 60 hours a week working in that environment, or in some cases living in the environment that we are maintaining.
Yeah.
So how do we build better buildings? We do that by building better relationships. It's not so much about dealing with a construction project, a plumbing issue, a electrical issue, as it is dealing with the people that all those things affect.
Yeah, absolutely.
So good facility managers build and maintain buildings. Great facility managers build and maintain relationships.
Yeah, love that.
The other thought, you're not networking, are you? Now, I've heard how many times, you have to network to be successful.
Yeah.
I would submit that networking is very cold and impersonal, and it's about accumulating things. Networks are for computers. Connections are for people.
Yeah.
I have 146,000 people in facilities management group. That's a huge network.
Yeah.
But how many am I actually really connected with?
Yeah.
Beth, you and I, we're connecting.
We are now, because like you say, it's superficial otherwise, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
I know about your Maine Coon cat.
You do.
I know you like to eat toast. So people want to do business.
Yeah.
People.
Yeah.
They don't do business with cold, impersonal. So how do you develop those connections? You develop those connections by actually taking a personal interest in the people with whom you're dealing.
Yeah.
The old saw that business is right out. I don't agree with it. Business is extraordinarily personal.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many times it was hammered into me. Cost savings, costs. Our clients want to save costs. At a certain level, you can only squeeze so many pennies out of whatever. or Pfennigs if you happen to be in Germany, right? Out of whatever project service you're providing. Cost savings absolutely is important, but if you focus on the services you're providing, the innovation, the technology, how to do things better, how to provide a environment in which your employees, your coworkers aren't dragging about, they are working, they are clicking and moving faster. The cost savings, it follows from having a organization that is functioning well.
Yeah.
And I have to put on my glasses sometimes because I can't read. I'm getting older now, right?
Welcome to the club.
So I needed a reminder that one of the things that was super important in a recent position. I can't claim credit for starting this, but I did expand on it.
Yeah.
At one of the properties that I was supervising, they had a program where they brought interns in from a day program for young adults with special abilities.
Yeah.
And this organization was looking at providing real work experience, real life experience for not even always young adults, but adults with special abilities. And there were a number of positions and opportunities within the organization where they could come in, earn a wage, earn experience, work with a caring, compassionate managers and supervisors. And the company not only received good workforce, but also received corporate social responsibility acknowledgement from the community. And so from a win-win-win perspective, it was not something we did to focus on cost savings. It was something we did to focus on people.
Yep.
And that eventually actually drove costs down.
Yeah. I'm loving this, Ed. You're it's about having a different perspective on things, isn't it?
Certainly. And please don't mistake me. Anybody that's listening, you have to have a technical background. You've got to understand the nuts and bolts of our business. But you cannot do that exclusively. If you're focusing on the cold, hard, physical aspects of our business, your demeanor becomes cold and hard.
Yeah,
so,
but I would speak up for those who don't have a technical background, because I think actually there are lots of amazing people working in FM who don't have the nuts and the bolts knowledge, but who learn that. And I always say that FM is about managing stuff, you know, and whether that stuff is people, process, plant, building, services, standards, whatever, just put managing in front of, because that's fundamentally the skill that we have. You know, there's so much stuff you can learn.
Yeah, the soft skills are hugely important. And like many of us, you know, I fell into facilities management. I was in the U.S. military for a time.
Okay.
And when I got out of service, through connections, you know, through my network, I established a connection, which then got me a role in facilities management. And I didn't have FM skills per se, but I could manage people, I could manage supplies, I could manage logistics, I could manage money, I could manage time and material. And it was just a different nuts and bolts we were managing, but you know, it translated fairly easily.
Yeah, I love that. What else have you got for us then? We've had connections, not networking. You've talked about cost savings. You've talked about focusing on the fact that we're providing a service for people, like you say, who are working and living and using that environment. It's not just about the grade A office space. I'm loving it. What else?
Well, customer service is not my job.
Okay.
The old saying of the customer's always right. And how many times have we seen employees that were maybe mishandled at the expense of some unreasonable customer?
Yeah.
Again, don't mistake me. We are here to support folks that utilize our facilities. That's our number one job, providing that customer experience.
Yeah.
We can't do it at the expense of our employees.
Yeah.
So as a leader within an FM organization, customer service is not my priority. My priority are the men and women that are working on in my organization, that are working with me to provide those services. If I support them and I provide the tools and resources for them to be successful, customer service follows.
Okay, so you're enabling them to be able to provide natural customer service by leading the ship.
Exactly right. Exactly right. If the employees are empowered with the right authority levels, responsibility levels, the tools and the resources, and the left and right limits in which to operate, those employees keep the customers happy, keep the customers enjoying the experience. And so as a leader, customer service is not my priority. My priority is my employees.
Okay. And that you don't hear many people saying, but the logic behind it makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
It does. I can remember on a number of occasions, and you know, we all have them, the end user that you tell them it's black and it has to be white, or you know, you've been up there 10 times to adjust the thermostat, to adjust the temperature. You provided 5 different office chairs and they're not happy at all. And you know, sometimes they will take that out on a particular employee, and a manager will come in and say, you're a bad employee, you've done nothing right, you know, we'll take the customer side. You've got to figure out a better way to manage that, because not now you've got an employee that is completely disgruntled, does not feel supported, and then you have an end user that's probably still not going to be happy no matter what. Yeah. So how do you fix that? And the way that has worked for me is upfront, throughout, always supporting my employees with all the appropriate tools and resources for them.
Okay. Now I'm just conscious of time, because I think we could probably chat all day, to be honest. You've got some fantastic content here. But you did tell me that you've written a LinkedIn article, which you've got a lot of your thoughts and musings in. So how do we find that? Do we search under your name, or I'll tell you what I'll do. We'll find a link, and I'll put a link in YouTube, because I think a lot of people want to read up more about this. And we could also, go on, sorry.
I was just going to say, I can send you the link.
Perfect. Okay, we'll do that, and we'll also put a link to the facilities management group, because I think what you told me before we started recording is there's a huge amount of discussion, and I think we're all interested in seeing different perspectives, and part of this series is about not reinventing the wheel. So I think we can benefit from that. So listen, Ed, for now, I'm going to let you get on with your day, because it's early in the morning over there. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for planting some really interesting seeds that we can kind of have a think about. And I think we need more of this. So thank you very much.
It was absolutely my pleasure. And if I can be of assistance to anyone out there, do not hesitate to reach out to me on LinkedIn. I will connect and provide whatever assistance I can.
Perfect. Thanks, Ed. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.